There we go. So we are very thankful that so many of you have chosen to spend your time here with us to discuss how we can meet current and future needs, the challenges with modeling and the energy sector, with energy modeling. So, as I said, we're recording the meeting. That any haven't decided anything yet, but if there is a public procurement to be in accordance with the Norwegian procurement, to tell what's said there today to anyone who's not here. So that is why we are filming. You can see the agenda. We're going to introduce the collaboration between parties, our issues. Then we hope you can join us for discussion. We have gathered today a broad selection of expertise, both from model and model framework users. We have developers, suppliers, and other interested parties. It's a big, broad group from entire Europe, entire world actually. We have people joining us all the way from Brazil. So we are very happy that so many of you have chosen to prioritize this. Before we move on, I would like to introduce the collaboration project. This conference is the first step, collaboration between the Norwegian Water and Resource Directorate, NVE, Statnett and Statkraft. NVE's mandate is to ensure the development of Norwegian hydropower is both environmentally friendly and beneficial to Norwegian society. Statnett is the system operator in Norway, operating the power supply through power grid. Statkraft is Europe's largest renewable energy producer, a global company in energy market operations, fully owned by the Norwegian state. Together, these three businesses have identified the common needs for power market modeling today and in the future. These needs form the basis of this cooperation project, where the aim is to share the work, share the cost. In cooperation, the professionals in the entire business can learn and build on each other and elevate the entire industry. That is our goal. This collaboration is still in its early stages, as I said. Different concepts, different ways to realize our needs are being considered. Nothing has been decided, no measures have been decided yet. Can't stress that enough. We don't have all the answers. We have some questions, and that's why I've gathered you. So what we're going to do, we together are going to present our common needs openly. We believe that an open, honest discussion is the best way forward to say where we are and where we want to go. That's done. We want your input. As I said, we're in the early stages. No measures have been decided. But we want to explore all possible roads towards the best. Excuse me. To mute all of our participants. There we go. We understand that some of you might want to keep your input to yourself for competitive reasons. After all, we have competitors in the same room today. Still, we hope you can say as much as possible. Also, we urge you to let us know if you have something you would like to say to us in private, because we want to have some one-to-one discussions. I'll say more about that later on. Lastly, we're here to give information about us, our needs, and our process, and give it to everyone at the same time. It saves money, and it makes sure everyone has the same information going forward. So, since we are both, everyone here from model users, model suppliers, and developers, to make sure everyone is on the same page, we'd like to start quickly with a simple definition of what a power market model is. For some of the experts, you might disagree or think it's too simple, but yes. So a power market model in its simplest form is a calculator. I'm saying that with quotation marks. They help us understand the power market by answering different questions we have and predicting the results based on our input. Clever algorithms, hopefully clever algorithms. The analysis starts with a data model, as you can see. This is a way to describe what's going to be modeled. It could be a list of power plants and their capacity for production. It could be the power lines and how much they can transfer, things like that. The weather and many other inputs. The model core contains algorithms that take this data, Iterations from the data model and solve complex mathematical problems. Some models are deterministic, producing the same result with the same data, while others are stochastic, meaning they have randomness in them. But after the core is done doing its thing with the data, it produces a result. And many models, most models have more features than this. They have user interfaces, they have APIs to facilitate communication with other programs. But this is the simple form. So power market models are important tools for all the three parties. I would like to introduce first Arne Bruvoll, who is the head of the energy system section in MDE. Say something about it.
As Lega said from the beginning, NV's mandate is to ensure that the development of the Norwegian hydropower is both environmentally friendly and also beneficial to the Norwegian society as a whole. Therefore, we have a role both as a regulator of the market, we are a licensing authority to all the renewables, and we are also a professional advisor to the ministry regarding all politics and development within this field. So, therefore, we use these power market models to several topics, like almost all of those listed on the scene, on the screen. We use like short time prognosis now in the power in surveillance of the market situation, which has been quite a lot in the media lately. And we're also responsible for power rationing afterwards. It's a real crisis, hopefully not, it will be. But we also use long-term prognosis to see what's how, like for instance, huge amounts of electrification, increased electrification will affect the energy system, or for instance, like how offshore wind power will affect the energy system. Then we need all these modeling tools to be able to say to analyze this in a proper way, and to be to make a good knowledge base for politics afterwards. What kind of cable is best to put for offshore wind. So power market models are of great importance for me and for the industry of petroleum energy to make both ensure NV's mandate and also make a good knowledge base for the politics.
Now, Royce Bushwood, which is the head of market analysis in Statnett. To say words.
A few words. Yes, I could also mirror a lot of what was said. I mean, we use market for ourselves. One thing that is not mentioned here is, of course, energy management. This will be the backbone as a producer. I'm responsible for market analysis for Southeast Europe. To support Statkraft. So we have a broad responsibility. But of course, the models are really the core.
Excuse me, I think we struggle to hear you.
Okay.
Oh, it might not just be me, but it's really hard to hear. Yeah.
Do you hear me better now? You could confirm. Okay. Yeah.
I think so.
Yes. Should I repeat what I said, or was it clear enough? I could.
But please repeat. It was a bit off and on.
Yeah.
But
okay,
the other one was better. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe might as yeah. This, yeah. Okay. No problem. What I tried, short summary, we could mirror all of this, short, long-term price prognosis, but what was not mentioned on this list for us is energy management. The Nordics is, of course, the core market when it comes to energy management for us, but we have assets in Europe, Albania, and worldwide. And doing power market analysis, we support Statkraft globally from my account. We also do this for strategic analysis, a really long-term view. We use the same tools, actually, but of course, then we are looking towards 2040, 2050, and so on. Of course, then we could easily talk about market design, production planning, and so on. Maintenance planning is, of course, very important for us. We use these models for that as well. So basically, all sort of commercial activity, it's one of the inputs comes from this. Trading and origination is also, of course, a big part of Statkraft, which we also support quite intensively as an input to the decisions from a commercial point of view. I think I could, yeah, I think that's it actually.
Thank you. And lastly, Anders Klingstad is the head of long-term market analysis at Statnett and short-term analysis at Statnett.
Yes. So yes, and I've been working with that since 2006, quite a long time, struggling with a lot of the same challenges since then. Very interesting. But from Statnett's point of view, it's really important. You know, we are a monopoly. We build the grid in the nature. We are part of democratic processes. So the explanation is very, very important. Why do we need to build new power lines? What happens if you don't add enough production? What is the cost of the losses? Why is it so that the Swedish grid is so important? What does Ohm's law say about that? Together with the optimization of the hydropower from Statkraft. And what about the very large variations of weather? We now had almost a year of dry year, and then suddenly it started to rain so much, you know. So this is very important, this fundamental approach. And in all these things, scenario analysis, power market analysis, but this leads in Statnett to this calculations of the need of transmission and the benefit of adding transmission lines within the country and to other countries. But also about understanding the challenges of running the system on a daily basis, at least 20 years ahead, because it takes a lot of time to, for example, change the market design and those things. So how is it in 2040 is an important discussion in Statnett, and we need to have calculations that learns us something about that. It does not need to be the answer, because you know we are going to decide a lot of things the next 20 years, but we need to understand it. And as a grid owner, it's very important to have this link between the market part, the optimization of the power plants and those things, and how it affects the grid and how the grid affects the market again. That is why we want to have an optimization of each power plant in relation to the rest to calculate the power flow actually. On the other hand, that is really difficult task. So we also could have more transparent like simplifications. But if you do that, you miss out on the optimization part, which is quite important to calculate, you know, the transparent benefit of adding capacity. So in this dilemma we have been for a long time. Details, the very correct way of calculating things. And on the other hand, like having transparent answers and a pragmatic way of answers and be able to answer on our way. So that is a brief view from our perspective.
Thank you. So, as you can see, market models are very important tools. You can say our entire civilization runs on electricity. Large sums are invested every year to keep this big system up and running, effectively to develop it according to our current future needs. Through analyzing the power market, all of us, everyone who just spoke, and many other people, need power market models to help us make the right decisions. There we go. One characteristic of the Norwegian power market is our large reliance on hydropower. Norwegian waterfalls have been tamed, harnessed to green and historically very cheap energy. That's been important both for our power-intensive industry, like the metallurgical industries that produce metal alloys and such, and for our citizens who can warm their houses and charge their cars for relatively low cost compared to other countries. It's important to underline this because in order to analyze the Norwegian power market and help us make correct decisions about all the different processes we previously showed, we need to understand hydropower, the value of the water stored in each of the power plant reservoirs, and the interconnectedness of the hydropower plants. Water can be stored in reservoirs until needed, allowing for the quick changes in production and low start and stop costs. Well-regulated reservoirs can provide short-term flexibility within an hour, as well as long-term flexibility over days, weeks, and even years. A unique characteristic of Norwegian hydropower is our multi-year reservoirs that store water, that typically more water than could typically fall in any season. And you store water over several years. And to understand investment strategies, for instance, for storage over several seasons is very important. The green transition, or the green shift for those in Norway, the green transition is about how Norway will be a low-emission country by 2050. To achieve this, we must transform into a society where growth and development take place within nature's tolerance limits. It will be challenging, but it is possible. That is how the Norwegian government starts its presentation of the green transition on its website. And it's not an exaggeration to say that the next decades will fundamentally change the way our society works. To focus on the topic at hand, the way power is generated, transported, stored, and consumed. To charge our cars and power our smart homes, facilitate the power-intensive industry, and continue living as we do today, we need to make the correct decisions today and tomorrow. And already the power market is changing rapidly. Reliance on unstable energy sources like solar and wind power, coupled with gas, coal, and nuclear plants across Europe being shut down. It's created a more weather-dependent electricity prices. The last year, in Norway at least, we have felt the very real implications of that as a more closely integrated power market between the Nordic and the mainland European countries. And to paraphrase news reports from earlier this year, our power in Norway became more expensive because wind wasn't blowing in Germany. And of course, the terrible situation in Ukraine, Russia's use of gas as a political tool, makes the situation more dire. So to summarize, power is important for our society, an understatement, our businesses, our way of life, and our society and the power market is changing rapidly. And as the power market changes, so must our methods and tools for analysis. Current power market models help us understand today's power market and give us useful information as the basis for decisions. However, the current models were in large designed for a different time. There is uncertainty as to whether they will be able to accurately describe and predict trends in the power market of the future, as both known and unknown technological and societal changes will occur. Earlier, we used the example of a lack of wind in Germany, causing higher electricity prices in Norway. That shows us how detailed modeling of the future power market needs to account for many more variables and interactions than we did 10 or 20 years ago. We know of many current trends. The use of weather-dependent power sources is a good example. You can also predict that the use of energy storage, for example, using batteries, using your car as a battery and powering your house, for example, that would be a greater factor in the future. But we don't know of all the technological developments that will occur. And to make a future-proof, again in quotation marks, model, it needs to be built to evolve, which can be solved through, as it says here, a modular architecture, where different functions, algorithms, configurations can be updated, changed, and replaced, having the bonus of allowing your modules to be turned on and off, allowing different levels of aggregation chosen in different analysis, both slower, more detailed, long-term analysis, and faster aggregated short-term analysis. Being able to change and adapt potential, an important characteristic of a future power market model. As such, they need to be operated in a manner that facilitates change, where change in the model and its parts is part of the business and the operating principles. As continuous improvement, research, and development will continue to push the model towards even more accurate predictions, development and operations can't be separate activities. An important aspect of power market modeling is academic research. Many analysts with knowledge of power market models are PhDs, and research into power market modeling, models, algorithms is an important factor in finding new ways to describe complex systems mathematically or improving existing methods. The cooperation between academics and model providers and developers will be even more important going forward, because as the power market changes, so must our models, algorithms, and functions, as we've shown. To ensure that our models give an accurate understanding of the real world and the future, collaboration with academia and facilitation of research is important. An important step in this regard is to increase the level of openness with regards to how the model and its algorithms work. An added bonus of this openness will be increased trust, as Anders touched in on. Increased trust in the model results. The analysis will be better equipped to explaining their findings. As we described, the power market models of the future need to be built to continually evolve. An important factor in this continuous improvement will be cooperating with researchers to find a way to improve the models and making the way from research, theoretical research, to putting those into practice, making that easier. This can result in changes in models, algorithms, even the tools, new tools that can solve new problems. And the principle of openness, as we move forward, will facilitate a continuously evolving knowledge base and tools that match it. So the power market is a complex place. There are many things happening at once, many different energy sources, carriers, and markets, and the questions we have in our analysis also vary. Just like the power market, our need for understanding, the need for models is equally complex. And there are many different models today. We have several represented in the conference. From the large models that attempt to answer many big different questions, to the smaller models maybe focused on answering a single question in as much detail as possible. And these 2 points together mean that there are no one model that's used by itself. To fully understand the power market, the parties all utilize several models in unison, either iteratively, moving the result from one, maybe as input, to another model, or parallel to control results by running the same data sets in several models. Every power market model has different requirements for its input. Data set from small syntax differences to larger structural differences, which means every model needs its own data set. That means that the same data set needs to be configured and created, often manually, multiple times in order to run the analysis. It means output data needs to be transformed before being used as input data to other models. How this is solved today varies. Some is done manually, while some do it through custom-made scripts made by the analyst or their company. Manual configuration always has the risk of manual error. Something as small as a comma error in the dataset can lead to misfired analysis, often not discovered until too late. The common solution is to develop scripts individually or owned by businesses, which is a band-aid solution. It solves the immediate problem, but it introduces its own source of vulnerability and cost. What if the analyst who made the script is sick? What if a model is updated so that the scripts across the industry stop working? And every company has to invest time in updating their own separate scripts. The solution, you have a solution, you have technology. It's a model framework, which is, rather than manually converting data or maintaining analyst or company-specific scripts, you use the model framework as a tool maintained through collaboration. It's used to automate and streamline the manual processes. Resources can be used to elevate the analysis in other ways, in more productive areas than converting data sets. And if we can collaborate on maintaining the model framework between companies, the impact for each company, if there's a need for change, is reduced greatly. An important step in elevating the industry and foster collaboration between professional environments. And as a bonus, if you have an open model framework, you can also facilitate research, because you will make available standardized components like datasets, APIs, and other features. It can be easily tested. So, to summarize, we'll focus now on 3 questions in our summary, which is why, what, and how. 3 simple questions. So the why, we talked about it. The future needs new tools. Presented the power market changing. Some changes have already occurred. We know of some, and some we don't know of yet. The power market is changing. To be able to continue the important work that the power market models contribute to, we need new systems, new operating principles, new processes to ensure a continuously improving ecosystem of collaboration, research, and analysis. That's the why. And the what? What are the high-level needs? To do this, to continue to provide accurate and valuable insights to decision makers, we need to solve the following needs. They're high level. We need them to be able to model hydropower in enough detail, for instance, by understanding individual water values in reservoirs and multi-year reservoirs. We need to be able to combine this knowledge of hydropower with new energy sources, carriers, other sources of flexibility. We need to describe interactions between the Norwegian, the Nordic, and the European power markets. And the model needs to have enough openness to facilitate research, collaboration, and trust. Manual tasks related to running several models need to be automated and streamlined across the industry. And as we have already stated, the systems must be built to evolve, built to change from its system architecture to its operating principles. As for the how, that's why we have invited all of you.
So our way forward right now, I'd like to, before I wrap up, thank you again. We have learned a lot already just from listening to you and answering your questions. And as we stated, no measures have been decided yet. We are still exploring. It's an early stage of our project. And we hope this conference was useful to you, and of course appreciate your time. First of all, we would invite everyone to send us written inputs. So we've set a limit on 4 pages, so we're able to read it all before Christmas. But we would love your inputs. How should we proceed? What should we do? From bigger to more specific recommendations. My email is written here. It's written in the input. So you have also got an invitation in Teams, most of you. We also want to do one-to-one discussions. We've written selected parties. Our goal is to, because we don't have a limited time, unfortunately, We can't guarantee that we'll have the chance to talk with everyone, but we will prioritize companies and try to minimize overlapping of very similar businesses. But we have to prioritize somewhat. Depends on how many want to speak with us. We want to speak with as many as possible and learn as much as possible. All inputs, both here today, written inputs by email and the one-to-one discussions, will be made detailed notes of. That is, as I said in the start, because of the Norwegian Public Procurement Act, which requires us that we are allowed to speak and communicate, but we need to secure equal treatment, openness, and neutrality. So if, for instance, other parties who weren't able to be here will be able to see this recording, for instance. So that is our way forward. That is all the words I have. We have one hand in the air.
Yeah, I think maybe one thing you should consider is to do some of the things that's been suggested here, create some areas and specify a bit more in terms of Statnett, and then maybe have invite to another dialogue with the Witcher, and we have some more information. And maybe share the user stories or user. Yeah, sure. I think that would be a richer.
Very good input, thank you. There's a question. Will the written inputs be shared with all? The written inputs will be will take care of it, and if there are innsynsbegjæring, as it's called in Norwegian, requests for openness, if there is a procurement, that's an if statement. If there's a procurement, everyone will be able to inform about the inputs, and everyone can ask to see the inputs, apart from business secrets and such. So we won't publish everything that's shared with us online openly, but we will keep it in case of anyone questions it and wants to know what we were told. That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your time. That's it. Please. Also, thank you for the participating teams.
Bye.